Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Wes here with Great East Space. It has been a while. I hope you are all doing extremely well. I haven't been posting videos. I kind of got out of my rhythm and never really had the motivation to get back into it. I kind of have spread myself pretty thin. I started out my NFT journey in SoRare, but if you follow me on Twitter or we've caught up in DMs on Discord or Twitter or whatever, you've seen that I am pretty deep into the NFT space in general now. My first kind of stepping out from SoRare was with Bored Ape Yacht Club. So I've got one of those, and then it's just kind of gone from there. And I'm in a bunch of different projects now, constantly, trying to keep up with everything, and the space can be kind of overwhelming. So all of that just kind of resulted in me putting less time into SoRare and no time into content creation. With that said, I want to kind of get out of that flippers mindset of, how can I go make a little bit of ETH today, buying this and selling that. And I want to focus on building and making relationships and really building something that's going to be sustainable for the long term. Because, I don't want this to be just something where I'm in it to make a quick buck. I want it to be kind of a business and a journey that I can kind of go on and feel good about, whether there's a sale to be had or not. So with all that said, I plan to continue to create SoRare content, but I'm also going to kind of branch out a little bit and talk about other areas of primarily crypto, NFT, DeFi, and ways to create income using, these tools. So that's kind of been my mission statement the whole time, right? If we flip over here to my Twitter profile, documenting my journey to financial freedom by using the internet and having fun. So that's what this channel is all about. In the past, it was strictly SoRare because that's just kind of how I got started. But yeah, it's going to be a little bit more expansive. So I hope you guys will follow me along on those journeys, as well as what I'm doing here in SoRare. Or if you're only here for the SoRare content, that's great too. But yeah, so keep engaging with me, and I'm excited to be back. Anyways, so my SoRare squad. A lot has changed for me. Back when I was making my last videos, I was kind of starting my rotation back into MLS only. That has continued, and in fact, I have, and obviously there's been a lot that's kind of gone on since I haven't been recording, but the big thing I think is probably the introduction of the new rarity. So the limited cards, 1 of 1,000, I kind of took a different approach than most. So I saw a lot of kind of my people that were similar positioned as I was, with decent rares, a few good rares, winning occasional rewards, but by no means any kind of whale, selling their rares and going down into limited. I took a different approach, zig when they zag, or whatever they say, right? And we'll see if it pays off. It probably hasn't yet, to be honest. But I think, it's a long-term approach, and we'll see if it works out. So I have started to try and level up into more and more super rare cards. So we can just take a look at my gallery and kind of see what it looks like now. But as you can tell, a lot of my new additions are super rares. And I won't go through one by one or anything. But yeah, it's trimmed down a lot too. So very few cards to pick from every week, which is part of why content's been hard, because there just aren't a lot of decisions that I'm making week by week of, should I start this guy or that guy? Because a lot of my cards, I've got very few rare cards, so I pretty much know who I'm rolling out in Global All-Star D4 every week. Just trying to get my ETH kind of threshold. And then my super rares, a lot of those are guys that I'm kind of positioning for the future, really for next year is the plan, going for a U23 lineup. So still got some work and some building to do there as the season kind of wraps up and get into the off season for MLS. But yeah, that's kind of where my head's at. So my thought being, limiteds provide a really, a better user experience, I think, probably, because you're able to acquire players that you like and who you think are going to succeed. So it kind of gives you that kind of DFS on steroids feeling, right? Where just pick who you think is going to score the best and plug them into your lineup. And if you are correct, then, you can compete with anybody and you can win the big rewards, which is, I think, great and a really kind of exciting feeling. For me, though, I'm starting to treat this a little bit more as an investment and a little bit less as a game, just partially because of the time that I don't have to put into it. with spreading myself a little bit more thin. So with that, I think, over the long term, as more and more people get onboarded to the platform, which is continuing to happen at an extremely high rate, which is great for, the long-term health of the project. I think we're going to see, obviously, more and more of those people trying to get from limiteds to rare, from rare to super rare, and potentially from super rare to unique. But unique's kind of out of the question for me. So super rare was kind of the step up and where it made sense for me to go. And by focusing on younger players, I give myself a little bit of runway, right? So first of all, I can compete in U23 tournaments once I finish building out this lineup. But secondly, I'm going to have, I'm not getting guys who are in kind of the tail end of their career. So if 2 or 3 years down the road, this, SoRare has grown to the point where there's a lot of money in the platform, and, super rares are, the scarcity of them is an even stronger kind of feeling. A lot of these guys will still even be eligible for U23 at that point, but definitely still in the middle of their career. So that's really how I've been kind of positioning myself, thinking about this long term. It's not as much fun as playing in the limited tournaments, doing all the kind of the day trading of players and things like that. And I'm not saying at some point I won't do that, because I think it would be fun, and I will probably play around with it at some point. But right now there's just so much that I'm trying to learn in the crypto space, that it's just spreading myself too thin. So really try to kind of narrow it down. Specifically, I'm even, very strategic in how I'm playing week over week. So I've got a lot of players from Toronto and a lot of players from San Jose. And I'm just kind of putting those stacks in every week and hoping that they hit. I was able to get those stacks because those two teams aren't very good. So it hasn't been super profitable for me. But with all that said, I still feel pretty good rolling them out every week. All it's going to take is, 1 or 2 weeks where I put the right mix of those players from those teams out, and I could potentially hit on a really big reward. And then also, like I said, U23, and then a couple injured guys. So Aaron Long and Eddie Segura, a couple injured defenders that'll be back next year and hopefully be able to help me out there. So that's my approach, kind of where I'm sitting right now. It's not the most exciting. It probably doesn't make for great content. But thinking about it as an investment, what's going to matter 2 years down the line? Limiteds just scare me with the supply being 1,000. And I'm not saying that it can't work. I think they'll still hold value better than I expected initially. The top end guys anyways. But I just think, the scarcity of super rares creates a supply constraint, right? So as long as there's demand there, which people are coming onto the platform, so there's going to be demand, I'm trying to position myself to where I have something that is valuable because people can't go get it somewhere else. So if there's, a couple hundred people looking to sell a card of the exact same type as mine, like a limited card, right? At any point, that market's going to be pretty liquid. There's going to be a lot of people trying to sell. Then, it just makes it hard to really see big upside, versus a situation like this where I have Chofis Lopez, who I purchased. I think I traded for him from Powell. Yeah. So I don't know what I gave for him, but it wasn't much. I think he was around 0.03 or something for his rare card when I picked him up. And now he's almost around 0.1 for his rare card because he's, had a really good stretch of games. So I'm going to try and flip him, around 0.4. And, you can get a great flip on him if you bought his limited at the same time and selling that now. But there's only 6 of his super rare card. So, it kind of puts me in a little bit of a name my own price situation. And if someone wants them, they're going to have to pay essentially what I want to ask for it. Anyways, so that's kind of my logic. And, a lot of that is kind of the obvious scarcity, supply demand factors that come with the super rare. Short term, though, I think it's probably a negative ROI, versus if I had, gone the other way and kind of sold some of my cards, invested in limiteds, and played that route. But long term, taking a little bit more of a passive approach, understanding I'm not going to hit on rewards every week, which is, not fun. Seeing everyone else have their great rewards and, their big ETH hits. But long term, I'm confident in this approach. So we'll see what happens. I got a little bit of work left to do, and I'll definitely bring you guys along for that ride. But yeah, so that's my approach. MLS season is winding down. Hopefully, we'll be able to pick up a few good deals. Been kind of stockpiling my zero point 0.02 every week, give or take, and trying to generate some money elsewhere in the crypto space. That if the right deal comes along, I could hopefully make that play. So, anyways, that's my situation. It's good to be back recording a video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you guys, like I said at the start, have all been doing very well and are making great progress on your SoRare journeys. Discord is kind of a mess. If you guys are in Discord, you know that. I don't know if the bots are as bad for you as they are for me. My mentions are just blowing up all the time, so I can't keep up in Discord anymore. So if you've got any questions or just want to say hi, drop it down in the comments below. I'll definitely get back to you. Excited to start engaging with the community again. The SoRare community is one of the greatest things that kind of brought me into this space and made me excited about it in general. And it's still kind of what I benchmark other projects against, which is a very high bar. But I think that's what makes it successful, right? You got a great community and a great team leading. And all those things, when they come together, it really sets the project up for long-term success, in my opinion. And I still feel great about SoRare and the direction that SoRare is headed. So we'll talk more about some of the future things SoRare has planned in future videos. But I just wanted to get back in front of the camera and kind of show you guys where I'm at, what I've been doing, and what I plan to do in the future. So hope that you guys are doing well, and we'll stick around for more videos to come soon. All right. Have a great one.